Hey Verse, it's your girl KZ here to give you guys another video. So today Verse, this is going to be a little bit more on the serious side. I'm going to try to just get straight into it because there is something clearly going on right now as of the timing that I'm making this video. It is something that's a big deal and that could clearly escalate, and we're all obviously very concerned. We're all obviously sad because of what's taking place, and it's just terrible, you know? It's just terrible what's happening. I want to give you guys my thoughts on what's going on. And for you guys wondering why am I making a video like this, it's mainly because of the fact that I actually have plans and ideas on what it is that I want to do on my channel before I can continue on making videos like if nothing happens. I feel like it's important to acknowledge the situation and pretty much talk about it, because I don't really feel like kind of putting on a video being all like, hey Verse, like let's all have a great day today, and then there's something big going on in the background where people are literally dying, right? So I feel like it's important for my sake especially to acknowledge the situation and to just give my thoughts on what's currently going on right now, because it's pretty horrific what's happening. As of the timing that I'm making this video, right, apparently Russia has now invaded Ukraine. We are getting close to the 60-hour mark of them invading Ukraine. They're getting close to their capital at this point. It's terrible what's been going on. Nearly 200 people have died already. Everyone's trying to negotiate with Putin for him to stop. And honestly, for him to be doing this is gonna be all on him and him alone, because he's the one that has to say. For him to want to claim land for something that hasn't been Russia's for quite some time is terrible. Like, this has been out of nowhere. But then again, he has talked about it for quite some time. A lot of people have talked about this. I know Ben Shapiro talked about this. I've been using the past few days to kind of keep up with the news clearly, and you know, to basically try to see what's happening. You know, I was really hoping that, you know, Ukraine and Russia could talk it out, but apparently the president of Ukraine has been doing nothing but trying to communicate with Putin's ass, and he hasn't been picking up the phone. So now that they're pretty much getting close to the capital, right, now all of a sudden Putin's like, hey, I'm here willing to negotiate. It's like, no, right? Like we know what you're doing, especially since Putin's demands are just like unfair. It's really unfair for Ukraine in this situation, because Ukraine obviously isn't as big as Russia. Russia obviously is a huge country, right? It's just as big as China. And for Putin to do this now, as to my knowledge, as of right now, the United Nations are all coming together. Right now, they're all trying to basically come up with something to pretty much help Ukraine at this point, because Ukraine literally put a ban on citizens leaving from ages 18 to 60. I was like, man, that's how desperate they are on them trying to fight back. And I don't blame them. It's a terrible situation what's going on right now. I'm seeing footages of missiles impacting certain cities. People are damn near what's going on. A lot of buildings, cities have been invaded, destroyed. It's terrible. And the fact that, you know, all these citizens are literally willing to bear an arm to go and fight is very brave of them. And I think it is important to talk about situations like this. Of course, there's nothing wrong with trying to distract yourself, right? When something as big of a crisis like this occurs, sometimes you don't want to think about it, and that's absolutely fine. But I just don't like it when people become ignorant about it. You know, I don't like when I go on my Instagram and I'm seeing people posting pictures of them showing their bodies or them talking about some bill that's going on right now. I'm like, guys, it's called priorities. You really think people are going to care about what's going on with your identities if there's a war going on? You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, come on now. There's this huge bill going on in Texas. I read it. I know what it's about. And a lot of people who I follow who are trans are doing nothing but just talking about this bill while this crisis is going on. And to me, it's frustrating, because I'm just like, you really think that matters right now? I'm like, you know, like the U.S. could possibly get involved. I think in my opinion, I think we are going to get involved, mainly because of the fact that we're part of a treaty that Ukraine is also a part of for them to get rid of the nuclear weapons. So clearly, at any moment, something's going to happen, right? So for just seeing people stupidly talking about one thing when there's something bigger going on, I'm like, guys, I think we could put that aside for a moment, right? Like, even me being the way how I am, even I know that. That's just something that I've noticed that's really gone on my mind, that really irritates me. I don't like the way how people are reacting. Now, the news. So clearly the news nowadays, right? When something goes on, they're all over it, right? When the coronavirus came on, oh my God, it got so repetitive because all the news did was just talk about it. They mentioned it 24/7 24/7, they mentioned how many people were getting sick, they were mentioning how many people were dying, they were mentioning what you can or cannot do, they were mentioning about the masks, they were talking about more results. Every day or every week, it was just nothing about corona results. And it got so annoying after the point where we're just like, whatever, man. I mean, it's serious, but it's like, we get it, you know? And here, the coverage for what's going on with Ukraine, in my opinion, has been pretty good, you know, of the coverage. I mean, it shouldn't happen at all. But I'm just really happy that we're all putting a lot of awareness out there, and I'm really proud of that for what we're doing. You know, we should put more attention to what's going on there, because a lot of people there are scared. A lot of people are seeing things that we're lucky to not be seeing in front of our faces. And don't get me wrong, there are some hiccups. Apparently, when Russia was clearly getting closer to the capital, as of the timing that I'm making this video, CNN was doing a live coverage of what was going on. As you can see here, there is something going on where pretty much giving this huge siren because clearly shit's about to go down. And then this happened.
A little bit of chicken fried, cold beer on a Friday.
When I saw this, I was like, wait, this isn't a show, right? This isn't a reality show either. This is live TV of something super serious happening, and you're showing an Applebee's commercial. Within minutes, everybody went on Twitter and was like, what the fuck was it? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you showing commercials during a live feed of a war? You know, like, what is that? Even Applebee's apologized for what was going on. That's what happened here. Nobody knows what the heck was going on here. CNN has been slipping up a lot lately. I don't know why. Nobody really trusts CNN with so much anymore, to my knowledge, or especially my opinion either. I feel like there's better news sources than CNN. Recently, also, you know, just like me, people want to obviously give their opinions out there, you know? I know it doesn't do much, but like I said, it is good to talk about it. There is this actress, I don't know her name, but she wanted to, I guess, send a message to Putin, maybe to stop the war, and I think that's great. But what she did, to me, I was like, wow, you could have did anything, and this is what you do. She basically decided to do this.
Dear President Vladimir Putin, I'm so sorry that I was not your mother. If I was your mother, you would have been so loved, held in the arms of joyous light. Never would the stories plight the world unfurled before our eyes, a pure demise of nations sitting peaceful under a night sky. If I was your mother.
Yeah, she decided to make a poem. She decided to write a poem. I mean, that's the whitest thing I've ever fucking done. Look, we've all seen Putin at this point, right? We all know how his ass looks like. So I'm just imagining Putin sitting in front of a computer with his face as he's watching this, and he's like, "What the fuck am I watching?" People on Twitter went all over that fucking poem. People were criticizing the heck out of it. And people were like, what was this? You're making us look bad already. Like, we're right here trying to show that we're tough, we got this, we're gonna back them up, and then we're doing stuff like this. What? A poem. I'm sorry I'm not your mom. What is that gonna do? Like, Putin's gonna be like, we still got the missiles, right? I shouldn't be making fun, but like, a poem. A fucking poem. Oh my god. It's like, hey, at this point you might as well do a diss track. That would be hilarious if somebody was to actually do a diss track on Putin. Oh my goodness. I mean, they did it for Trump. Do it for Putin. So, yeah. But trying to make it serious here though, right? Trying to be serious here. You know, I just want to acknowledge basically what's going on is that, you know, I think it's great that we're obviously trying to give our support out there, and that we should definitely keep that up for sure. I'm just happy to know that at some point, you know, we're definitely gonna end up backing up Ukraine. And this is what's also worrying, is the fact that right now everything's fucked up, in my opinion. Right now, you know, we're barely getting out of a pandemic. You know, a lot of money and resources went to finding a vaccine or vaccines for this pandemic. pandemic, you know, we're at the point where people just aren't really the way how they should act. You know, a lot of people are very exaggerating nowadays. A lot of people don't really take certain things the way how they should very seriously nowadays. It's just a lot of things where it's like we're not really ready for something like this. And don't get me wrong, it has been nice and peaceful for quite some time, and I'm happy about that. But recently, a lot of stuff has been happening. Like, honestly, with Afghanistan, when that happened, I honestly thought, man, something could happen there. I mean, it's already bad what happened. The fact that we just left because of this weak-ass president we have, but, you know, that's my opinion. I'm not really a Joe Biden person. I'm sorry, like, what has he done? Okay, so you answer that question. What the fuck has he done? For the fact that that had happened, it was like, alright, well, you know, that was terrible, but then knowing the fact that Putin, like, a few months later, ends up coming up with this, it's like, yeah, shit's about to go down. It's a scary situation. To me, already, I was thinking to myself, it was only a matter of time before something or someone somewhere was gonna do something, right? Because we're not in the 1930s or 40s anymore during World War I and World War II, right? We're not at the point where we have old-fashioned weapons. Like, everything's hyped up. Everything's almost about nuclear nowadays, and that's one of the things that I was really hoping for Trump's plans when they did that program to basically take away all nuclear missiles and stuff, because I'm telling you guys, if that shit gets too carried away, right, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad. So it's Russia, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they got a lot of gear, and the stuff that we have nowadays, it ain't child's play. It's serious. So what's even interesting about this to me was how fast everything was cut up to Russia like that, you know what I mean? Instantly, their stocks plummeted. The oil, everyone's just talking about oil and gas right now, right? A lot of people were getting worried because some of the oil and gas we get is from Russia. And apparently, you know, they get theirs, to my knowledge, their oil or gas, right, from Germany, and they cut them off, and I don't think they were expecting that. So to see everyone just cut off Russia, and now they're just sticking with what they have, but then again, it is a big country, right? So what they have could last them a little while. It's amazing how quick we just stop them. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to really just keep a straight mind on this, just because it is terrible what's going on, you know? So hopefully the United Nations will hopefully do something about this pretty soon, because it's bad for Russia to honestly take back their land, because somebody mentioned this that I didn't really think about. If Russia ends up taking this land because they're trying to basically grow their empire, right? Like, that's how people are calling it. It could go from something as small as Ukraine to then just trying to go to other territories, and that's what's concerning. I just don't like the fact that people nowadays act like, oh, well, that's over there, we're fine. I'm like, yeah, but over there it can end up coming over here. You know, like that happens with any war, obviously, right? So it's always good to keep an eye out. It's always good to talk about these things, and I feel good now. I feel good knowing the fact that I'm talking about this situation. If I'm not entirely or 100% accurate, hey, just remember, I'm just going on with some knowledge that I have. I don't know everything. There's a lot of information going on right now. Everyone's working. Everyone's just trying to be distracted. Nobody wants to talk about this, even though you should talk about this because it's important. I just wanted to make sure that before I move on doing other projects on my channel, that I acknowledge what's going on, because it's terrible what's going on over there. I'm honestly worried for people over there, especially because there's kids. When it comes to kids, that's really where it gets me, because they're kids, you know what I mean? It's terrible what's happening over there, but hopefully, you know, things will change. How, I don't know, but as long as just things change and they stop, because what is also irritating is that a lot of people are blaming the whole country of Russia. I'm thinking to myself, you know, it's not necessarily Russia, it's Putin, you know, like, as of right now, there's a huge protest that went off. Over 100 people, you know, got arrested for trying to protest because they even don't agree with what Putin's doing. It's Putin. And he's making all these sorry-ass excuses that all was for, you know, like, we didn't necessarily attack first, we're defending ourselves and stuff. And I'm like, that doesn't work. You know what I'm saying, Putin? I'm just like, your tanks came to another country's land, and you're saying that you were defending yourselves. You're defending. Why are you there? You know what I'm saying? His excuses are clearly ass, and everybody knows that. So I just wanted to just talk about this, like I said, and just get my thoughts out there. If you agree with me, great. If not, you know, you're entitled to your opinion. This is just for my sake. So with that said, though, I'm really happy to have said what I needed to say. I think it's important to talk about it, whether you know everything or not. Like I said, as of the timing of me making this video, this is the third day, I believe, that Russia has now been invading Ukraine. I know it's only getting worse, and Ukraine is hanging in there. I want to give props to the Ukraine president. He is literally there in the front lines fighting with his people. That's a leader. That's a leader right there. You know what I'm saying? For him to literally try to tell his people to calm down. We're gonna fight this. We're gonna make it. And for him to even be out there, he's not sitting behind a desk. He's literally out there. That's bravery. So credit to that guy. You know what I mean? So with that said, Dovers, please thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. Don't worry about likes or subscribers or any of that shit right now. That's not what matters. What matters is that you please spread the word, and hopefully, you know, anything that we can do or to support Ukraine, especially with what's gonna happen after this. To my knowledge, Russia is obviously gonna have to pay for all the damages when you think about it, because since they caused all this shit, it's gonna come out of their pocket, right? So anything we could do to basically support Ukraine at this point, even if you're just talking about it, would be great. But no poems. I feel bad saying that. I really do, but no poems. Please. So with that said, though, first, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Please, let's all give our love and support and our prayers to Ukraine, and let's make sure that we can do our best to make sure that we can give, you know, our government or any other government or the United Nations, just anybody who's willing to help stop this, the support that they need, because all this that's going on right now is just so unnecessary. It's unnecessary. So thank you very much, first, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.